Unlock the hidden truths of abundance, how acting as if can transform your life. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It crept into my mind like fog rolling over a silent lake, murky and undefined. One moment, I felt lost in the chaos of my daily Lithia life filled with sterile cubicles, urgent emails, and the clattering of keyboards. The next, I was awash in a torrent of vivid colors and strange symbols, bathed in light that pulsated with an otherworldly energy. But that dream, it felt like a whisper from the universe. I woke up gasping, my heart racing. It was as if someone had cracked open the door to a room I'd long forgotten. I stared at the ceiling, shadows dancing like ghosts across the wall. Questions swirled inside me. What did it mean? Was it just my imagination or something deeper, an echo of forgotten truths? I slipped outside, the morning air crisp against my skin, each breath igniting a flicker of hope. Nature had a mystical way of speaking to me. The wind rustled the trees, every rustle sounding like a secret being shared. Act as if. It seemed to say. A possibility hung in the air, heavy with potential. My insides twisted with uncertainty. Could I really transform my reality by pretending? That day, everything felt charged with a latent energy. I saw a butterfly flitting about, its delicate wings a burst of color against the muted backdrop of faded city life. I followed it, drawn as if by an invisible string, creeping closer. The world around me faded into a blur, my focus sharp like the crack of a whip. What if the butterfly was a sign, a reminder that beauty and abundance lay within reach? But as I reached out to touch it, it fluttered away, leaving me standing there, an ache in my chest. What did it mean to pursue what felt right? Hours later, every flicker of doubt surged, a tidal wave crashing against my resolve. I could see people around me, their expressions twisted with fear, uncertainty. I could hear murmurs of disbelief. Would they ever understand? I sat in silence, eyes closed, the drum of my heartbeat echoing in my ears. My thoughts tangled like vines, choking the clarity I once felt. There was a deeper truth hiding beneath the surface, a secret waiting to be unearthed. Was I ready for the answer? As twilight settled, the sky transformed into a canvas of swirling hues, fiery oranges and deep purples, a stunning tapestry that held my gaze. I felt it stir within me, an electric anticipation mixed with trepidation. My vision blurred again, and I was back in that dream, no longer just an observer but a player in its mystical dance. The question loomed like a shadow, could acting as if really change the fabric of my life? Was I brave enough to step into my truth? Here I stood, perched on the edge of possibility, teetering between fear and faith. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The next morning, I awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, as if a fire had been ignited within me. I would walk through the day wearing my dreams like a mantle, embodying the essence of abundance I yearned to manifest. I had a vague map in my mind, guiding me away from the clutches of mundanity. That day, I would take the smallest of actions, tiny, deliberate steps toward a life more aligned with my newfound vision. With every intention, I embraced the practice of acting as if. The morning light flooded my apartment, illuminating the untouched corners and casting hopeful shadows, beckoning me to venture into the unknown. As I traveled to work, instead of sinking into the monotonous rhythm of public transport, I immersed myself in the energy around me. I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply, allowing the symphony of the world to envelop me. Each sound, the chatter of commuters, the distant rumble of the train, even the rustling of newspaper pages, felt like a note in a grand composition. I smiled at strangers, noted the kindness reflected back in their startled eyes, and felt a gentle connection blossom. During lunch, I found a small park nearby. As I settled on a bench beneath an ancient oak, I noticed an older man sketching. The lines on his paper danced with life, each stroke telling a story I longed to understand. Gathering my courage, I approached him, asking if I could glimpse his world through his art. He looked up, his eyes sparkling with wisdom, and nodded encouragingly. As I peered at his creation, I saw more than mere lines, I saw possibility. Each stroke represents an intention, he said softly, a knowing smile crossing his lips. When you draw what's in your heart, you'll find your path unfolding. Astounded, I felt the weight of his words linger in the air like incense. Could it really be that simple? My heart raced as another layer of the mystery unfolded before me. I contemplated my own intentions. What did my heart truly desire? That evening, while meditating beneath a tapestry of stars, I let my mind drift back to the butterfly. It was not merely a fleeting moment or a brush with beauty, but a profound reminder of transience. Could beauty be a guiding force? I pondered, my mind wandering like sparks in the night sky. Could pursuing beauty lead me closer to my abundance? Days blurred into weeks, and I continued to tune in to the signs around me, small miracles woven into the fabric of life. A drop of rain splattering on the sidewalk reminded me of resilience, a child's laughter echoed the joys of innocence I yearned to reclaim. Each moment felt amplified, pulsating with meaning, yet intertwining with an elusive truth that still evaded my grasp. That I, in the quiet hours of night, as I reflected before drifting into sleep, I sensed a deep yearning for more clarity. Why did these signs speak so profoundly to me? What secrets lay beyond them, hidden treasures buried beneath the surface? Thus, the question grew, what happens when the journey is as vital as the destination? I lifted my gaze to the ceiling, the shadows casting familiar patterns reminiscent of my earlier dream. They beckoned, whispering ancient truths about transformation, urging me to keep my heart open and my spirit awake. And still, a question hung in the air, heavy yet unformed: how does one truly become the architect of their own life, mastering the art of acting as if the world pulsed with promises, yet the deepest mysteries remained to be unveiled? In the weeks that followed, an undeniable wave of transformation washed over me. I began to see life as a tapestry, woven from the threads of every interaction, perception, and dream. The small acts of mindful living and intention setting sprouted like seeds within my heart, demanding attention and nurturing. My mornings were now filled with ritual, a quiet moment for gratitude, followed by affirmations that soared with hope. One afternoon, I wandered into a small, eclectic bookstore that I had never noticed before. The warm scent of old pages and fresh coffee enveloped me like a familiar embrace. I found myself inexplicably drawn to a dusty corner filled with books about the metaphysical. As I explored the shelves, my fingers brushed against a worn, leather-bound journal, adorned with intricate carvings. It felt as though it had waited for me, whispering secrets of journeys untaken and possibilities yet explored. As I clutched it in my hands, a sense of urgency surged through me. I had stumbled upon something more than a journal. It seemed to pulse with the energy of stories yet to be written, adventures that awaited my pen. A simple inscription on the first page caught my eye: the journey within unlocks the world around. The phrase resonated with my growing understanding that the external manifestations of abundance are reflections of inner discovering. That I purchased the journal and took it home, where I set aside a sacred space just for it. Each page became a canvas for my thoughts, dreams, and revelations. I filled it with sketches, snippets of poetry, and reflections on my experiences. The act of writing transformed into a meditative practice, an extension of the art I had glimpsed in the park. As my pen danced across the paper, I felt more connected to my true self, unraveling layers of conditioning and expectation. One evening, while recording my thoughts, I stumbled upon a profound realization. The signs in my life were not merely coincidences, they were nudges from a universe urging me to awaken. In those moments of clarity, it became evident that the abundance I sought was not confined to material possessions but overflowed from the richness within, the joy of creativity, love, and authentic expression. Thus, my journey took an unexpected turn. I began to seek out opportunities that nourished my spirit. An invitation to a community art exhibition arrived, and without hesitation, I signed up. At first, a wave of self-doubt crashed over me. Who was I to showcase my work? Yet, as I prepared for the event, I realized that acting as if was not just a performance, it was an invitation to embody the energy I yearned to attract. The night of the exhibition arrived, and I stood nervously amidst the vibrant array of creativity. My art, still evolving, told stories of my journey, intertwining struggles and triumphs. Strangers approached, their eyes lighting up with recognition and understanding. A woman lingered before one of my pieces, tears welling in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, "this feels like a piece of me." In that moment, the illusion of separation crumbled. I wasn't merely an artist, I was a mirror reflecting the shared human experiential embodiment of connection and vulnerability. The fabric of my existence began to weave intricate patterns of hope and shared journeys, and I felt the pulse of abundance thrumming through the room. As I locked eyes with the woman, a deeper question awakened within me: what if our truest selves were hidden in the authenticity of our vulnerability? How might the unraveling of one's fears and insecurities invite others to find their own light? That night, cradled in energy and connection, I returned home, the journal humming with fervor. I knew my exploration was far from over. A flickering thought danced at the edges of my mind, unfurling as I prepared to sleep. Could it be that every experience, every encounter, was a breadcrumb leading to a more profound truth about abundance? What if the path was not just about acting as if, but about revealing the layers of self that concealed my innate worthiness? Even as I closed my eyes, the universe seemed to whisper its mysteries to me: how to embrace transformation while remaining open to the deep, unanswered questions swirling in the ether. There was beauty in the not knowing, a well of possibility waiting to be tapped. In that space of uncertainty, I felt both anticipation and reverence, for I was awakening to the profound realization that the journey in itself was as significant as the treasures I sought to uncover. The days turned into weeks, yet the excitement of transformation continued to ripple through my life. Each sunrise reverberated with the promise of new insights as I delved deeper into the rhythm of authentic living. My journal became a sacred repository, a vessel for dreams that ranged from vibrant aspirations to quiet contemplations. Yet, amidst this blossoming, a curiosity tugged at my heart: what else lay ahead on this spiritual journey? One afternoon, I strolled through the local park. The air hummed with the vibrant colors of autumn, a spectacle of nature's transition. The trees whispered secrets, their leaves cascading to the ground like tiny, colorful confetti. In that moment, an old man caught my eye, seated on a weathered bench, observing everything with an almost childlike wonder. His gaze met mine, a knowing smile gracing his lips, as if he recognized the quest within me. Compelled by an unspoken invitation, I approached him. "What do you see?" I asked, intrigued by the profound peace radiating from him. He chuckled softly: "I see a world full of stories waiting to intertwine." His eyes sparkled like the sun reflecting off autumn leaves. Much of our lives is spent racing from one moment to the next, yet the true adventure begins when we pause and allow ourselves to truly see. His words ignited a fire within me, prompting me to sit beside him. As we exchanged stories, he shared tales of his youth woven with lessons about love, loss, and the pursuit of purpose. Each anecdote was rich with humor and depth, and I found myself hanging on to every word, captivated by how the tapestry of his life mirrored my own in many ways. Suddenly, the old man leaned closer, his voice dropping to a more serious tone. "You seek abundance, young one, yet you must first cultivate gratitude for the present. Abundance is birthed from the soil of appreciation." With a mischievous glint in his eye, he added, "You must learn to read the signs the universe lays out for you, but also know they arrive in unexpected forms. Sometimes you must embrace discomfort to find your treasures." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows over the park, I absorbed his words like a sponge. That night, as I jotted down the day's encounters in my journal, I felt invigorated by the realization that the universe's breadcrumbs were scattered everywhere: the old man, the art exhibition, even the simple moments spent with friends. I started seeing signs not just as signals but as opportunities to engage more profoundly with life itself. Days later, while attending a poetry reading at a cozy cafe, a profound resonance filled the air as a woman recited her verses about healing. Her words danced through my spirit, echoing thoughts I had penned in my journal. It was intoxicating to glimpse someone else articulating the very feelings I was grappling with concerning vulnerability and abundance. After the reading, I gathered the courage to approach her. "Your poetry touched me deeply," I confessed, my heart racing. "It feels intertwined with my own journey." We struck up a conversation that unraveled into philosophy, art, and spirituality. She, too, spoke of how her passion for poetry revealed layers of truth and connection she hadn't expected. As we exchanged ideas, a shared revelation dawned upon us: our paths had crossed not by chance, but rather through our mutual willingness to show up authentically. After parting ways, my heart soared, knowing that the connections I was fostering were integral to my growth. Still, I felt a gentle tug around the edges of awareness, a question lingering in the back of my mind: how do the threads of our individual journeys weave together to create something more extraordinary than the sum of its parts? That night, as I lay in bed, the resonance of my encounters echoed. The world felt undeniably vast, filled with untold stories waiting to guide me further. I pondered the balance between navigating my internal landscape and embracing the brilliant interplay with the lives I encountered. What if the abundance I craved was less about personal achievement and more about the web of relationships and connections I nurtured? With each thought, new questions unfolded like petals of a blooming flower, tantalizingly beautiful in their complexity. Could it be that the path to abundance was guided not solely by clarity and intent, but also through weaving connections, sharing vulnerabilities, and embracing the mysteries that ripple through every encounter? The answers remained hidden, but the thrill of the journey beckoned, igniting within me an unwavering curiosity for what lay ahead. As the days grew shorter and nights wrapped themselves in a crisp embrace, the transformative energies of autumn began to mirror the undisclosed shifts within me. Each morning, the golden light seemed to offer whispers of potential, guiding me to explore deeper within the fabric of my spirituality. I followed the rhythm of nature, collecting the signs hidden amidst the swirling leaves and gentle breezes, a dance I had yet to fully understand. One evening, with twilight unfurling its dusky hues across the horizon, I found myself drawn to the edge of a serene lake. Its surface, glass-like, reflected the colors of the setting sun, enticing me with an invitation to pause and self-reflect. I settled onto a weathered stone on the shore, surrendering to the tranquility that enveloped me, allowing my thoughts to drift like the floating leaves nearby. As dusk deepened, a soft rustle emerged from the grass beside me. A woman, cloaked in a shawl of deep indigo, approached. Her presence was magnetic, and I felt an inexplicable pull to her. She sat beside me, her serene demeanor suggesting she was at peace with the world around her. "Isn't it beautiful?" she remarked, her gaze fixed on the shimmering water. "The lake holds its mysteries close, just as we do." I nodded, intrigued, yet uncertain of how to convey the flicker of curiosity ignited within me. "Do you think the reflections we seek in nature can reveal something about our own inner landscapes?" A knowing smile spread across her face. "Ah, the surface shows us what we wish to see, but the depths are where true discoveries await. Just like in our lives, the answers often lie beneath, cloaked in layers that require us to dive deeper." As we shared our thoughts on the interplay of nature and spirit, she began to recount her own journey through layers of doubt and the unfurling of hidden truths. Each revelation brought forth symbolic gestures: a wave of the hand, a tilt of the head, and the gentle rhythm of her voice, as if the universe was flow eerily in sync through her words. "Abundance," she mused, "is not merely about acquiring, but about becoming. It's about embodying the qualities we desire, embracing them fully, until they become a part of who we are." Her eyes sparkled with wisdom, reflecting a deep understanding that resonated with me. "So, you're suggesting that acting as if we are already abundant could lead us to experience that reality?" I ventured, processing the weight of her insight. "Precisely," she affirmed, "but remember, acting as if does not mean reaching for falsehoods. It's an invitation to step into your truth, to live as though you are worthy of your desires." Her words struck a chord within me. They invited me to venture beyond mere thought, to allow my heart to lead me into the embodiment of abundance, the gratitude for today, the open-heartedness for tomorrow, and the conscious effort to connect with those around me. Before parting, she slipped me a small stone, smooth and cool in my palm. "Whenever doubt knocks, hold this and remember to trust the process. We are never alone on our paths. Every connection, every moment, is a piece of the whole. As I walked back home under a star-speckled sky, the weight of her words settled deeper than before, a gentle reminder nudging me to recognize that this journey was not solely mine to traverse. I began to understand that the abundance I sought was perhaps less a destination and more an ever-evolving symphony played alongside others, with shared harmonies, crescendos of emotion, and the occasional dissonances that added richness to the experience. Soon after, I discovered a new sense of purpose awakening within me, an impulse to create spaces for connection, to gather fellow seekers, an assembly of soulful conversations, where we could reflect together on our journeys. Yet as hope blossomed, a lingering question hovered, one that sparked both excitement and trepidation: how do we act authentically as vessels of abundance if the true nature of abundance remains an enigma? The mystery of my quest deepened, enticing me further down this path of exploration. My heart swelled with a mix of curiosity and determination as the signs continued to unfold, hinting at something magnificent awaiting discovery just around the bend. As days turned to weeks, the crispness of autumn transformed into the chill of winter. Each sunrise seemed to carry with it a shroud of new beginnings, a whisper of the unseen. I sought solace in my newfound purpose, inspired to gather fellow seekers and dive into conversations that veiled treasures of wisdom. The stone given to me by the enigmatic woman felt warm in my pocket, a tangible reminder of trust in the process of discovery. That I began to host small gatherings at my home, inviting friends and acquaintances who shared a yearning for deeper understanding. Our discussions ebbed and flowed, weaving through stories of struggle and triumph, doubt and certainty. We spoke of abundance, love, and the intricate dance between intention and manifestation. Yet, despite the camaraderie, a sense of longing remained, as if we were tracing the outline of a completed picture without knowing what colors to fill it with. One evening, as snow silently blanketed the earth outside, a woman with fiery red hair arrived unexpectedly. She carried an air of mystique, her presence igniting curiosity in everyone gathered. I had seen her at the edge of our neighborhood gathering the leftovers of nature, twigs and leaves, crafting them into small, intricate sculptures. I invited her to share her creations with us that night. As she displayed her artwork, a stunning arrangement of branches cradling delicate shards of colored glass, she spoke of abundance from the perspective of a creator. To me, she began, abundance is not merely receiving, it is an act of giving and transformation. With every piece I create, I am breathing life into discarded remnants. It's about seeing potential in what appears lost. Her words resonated deeply, harmonizing with the discussions we had been having. She elaborated on her process, explaining how each sculpture reflected her emotions, her fears of inadequacy, her joys, and even her doubts. In each piece, there's a journey, she said, her fiery hair echoing her fervor. These fragments come together, not by accidental chance, but because I chose to see them as beautiful. Just like all of us, we are not defined by what we've been through but by how we choose to synthesize those experiences. Inspired by her perspective, I pondered how many times I had viewed my challenges as obstacles instead of opportunities for creativity and growth. The conversations unfolded like origami, each new insight transforming our understanding of abundance into something dynamic, an ever-shifting landscape steeped in possibility. During a moment of silence, I felt compelled to share my own ongoing journey. What if we are merely scratching the surface of what abundance truly means? I asked the gathering, my heart racing with vulnerability. If we redefine abundance not as a static achievement but as a continuous flow of giving and receiving, how might that reshape our lives? The room filled with thoughtful expressions as the light from flickering candles danced upon our faces. One friend, a gentle soul with soulful eyes, spoke up, if true abundance lies within a cycle, how do we ensure we are not just caught in a whirlwind of wanting, but truly embodying what it means to share our gifts? That question echoed in my mind long after the evening concluded, reverberating through my thoughts like chimes in the wind. I realized that the journey was more convoluted than I had imagined. The concept of acting as if could lead us toward abundance, but it also beckoned us to reflect on the ways we might have limited ourselves by keeping our gifts guarded. This realization brought with it a tempest of curiosity. What does it look like to embody abundance in its truest sense? How can we create pathways for others without depleting ourselves? In my moments of quiet reflection, I began to notice the interactions around me, the smiles exchanged with strangers, the simple laughter shared with friends, and the profound stillness of moments alone with my thoughts. Every small act felt like a breadcrumb guiding me deeper into the forest of understanding. As winter nights continued to unfold their mysteries, I found myself on the cusp of something profound, a yearning to fathom the truth of abundance even as questions multiplied. I grasped the stone in my pocket, feeling its cool surface against my skin. What if the essence of abundance lies not just in the destination, but in the journey itself? I mused, the unanswered questions filling the air like snowflakes drifting aimlessly, each one a unique piece contributing to an intricate tapestry of untold stories. With this thought lingering in my heart, I stepped into the cold night, knowing that the revelations were but the beginning, and the road ahead promised deeper depths yet to explore. As the long nights of winter began to fade, giving way to the promise of spring, my gatherings evolved into a sanctuary of exploration. The fiery-haired woman, who became known among us as Alara, enriched our circle with her insights, and our shared discoveries churned within me like the thawing earth beneath the snow. The questions we posed became seeds, each one awaiting the light of clarity to unfurl into something magnificent. One weekday evening, after a long day of work, I felt a pulling within my spirit, a longing that compelled me to seek the outdoors. I wrapped myself in a thick coat, and the brisk air greeted me like an old friend. I wandered down to the nearby park where the trees, still bare, stood like watchful guardians. An energy thrummed beneath my feet, life unfurling, waiting for the right moments to burst forth. As I walked, I came upon a small brook, its waters bubbling with vibrant enthusiasm, carrying with it the flakes of winter melting into the soil. I sat on a weathered bench, feeling tranquility wrap around me, and I began to reflect on the concept of abundance we had been wrestling with. In that moment of solitude, I realized that life, like the brook, was constantly flowing. It did not cling to ice or stagnate in fear of scarcity, it simply gave and received, forging its path continuously. The sound of laughter brought me back to the present. In the distance, I noticed a group of children, faces glowing with joy, busy constructing a snow fort. Their shouts of delight echoed in my mind, reminding me that the act of creation stemmed not from a sense of lack but from an innate desire to express joy, to share an experience. I found myself longing for that same unfiltered creativity and connection. With a newfound clarity, I began to ponder the importance of community in our pursuit of understanding abundance. What role did we play in each other's lives? How did the bonds we formed become gateways to limitless possibilities? It seemed the more we shared our experiences, the richer our lives became, a tapestry woven with myriad threads, each thread representing a story, a truth, a lesson. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of lavender and gold, I felt buoyed by both excitement and trepidation. I knew the gatherings had been a beautiful exploration, yet there remained an unspoken depth waiting to be acknowledged. What greater cosmic order was at play when we engaged in this dance of giving and receiving? On my way back home, a gentle stirring into my consciousness led me to a small, quaint bookstore nestled between larger establishments. It had been years since I had entered, but something beckoned me. Stepping inside, I was enveloped by the rich scent of old pages and the quiet rustle of thoughts yet to be voiced. My fingers traced the spines of books, and one title leaped out at me, The Art of Allowing. It seemed a poignant invitation. Later that night, with the book in hand, I delved into its pages, uncovering layers of wisdom. It spoke of allowing oneself to receive as freely as one gives, an essential symmetry in the universe. Each word seemed to echo Alara's reflections on transformation but expanded into new realms. In the days that followed, I began to share this newfound perspective with my circle. We initiated a new practice during our gatherings, focusing on active sharing rather than discussion alone. As each person spoke, their stories flowing like the brook, the energy in the room shifted. It felt as if we were all contributing to an energetic tapestry that stretched far beyond our individual concerns. Then, one evening, amidst this communal sharing, a quiet man, who often listened more than he spoke, held up a small object, a worn-out locket that had been passed down through generations. Its surface bore the marks of time, but in his hands, it emanated a profound warmth. "This locket holds the stories of my ancestors," he shared, his voice steady. But I've kept it close out of fear, afraid to lose it or let it go. Yet, all this time, I realized it's not the object that holds the value, but the stories and connections it fosters. His reflection pierced through the gathering with the clarity of a bell chiming at dawn. I felt my heart swell as he continued. What if abundance is not about accumulation but rather the sharing of our stories and experiences? If we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others into our narratives. As silence enveloped us once again, I felt the truth seep deeper into my bones. I couldn't shake the feeling that with every moment we shared, we were stitching ourselves closer together, allowing the essence of who we were to enrich our understanding of abundance. That night, my dreams danced with images of pelicans returning to their nests and wildflowers bursting through the dirt. Both represented something elusive and joyous, a life force unburdened by attachments or fear but instead rooted in community and sharing. As the dawn light spilled across my window, a question shimmered at the edge of my awareness, teasing my thoughts. What if the path to true abundance lies not just in what we create for ourselves, but in how we connect and uplift each other in our pursuit of truth? And thus, with the journey further unfolding before me like the promise of spring, I couldn't shake the excitement tinged with uncertainty that lay ahead. Such mysteries seemed to stretch infinitely outward, reminding me that the beauty of abundance, like nature itself, was still evolving, waiting patiently to reveal its myriad forms. With the whisper of spring meriting newfound hope, the gathering surged with vitality. Each encounter manifested as a vibrant tapestry. We became creators, blending colors and patterns through our stories, each recollection resonating with depth and meaning. The man's revelation concerning the locket shifted something within me, igniting a fervor for revelation beyond mere material understanding. One balmy evening, when the scent of blooming jasmine perfumed the air, I took a moment to walk alone again. The park felt like sacred ground, unearthing layers of awareness within me as I ventured down familiar paths. This time, I noticed the wildflowers beginning to emerge, small yet fierce, breaking through the earth's crust as if shouting, "We are here. We belong." By the brook, I paused, entranced by the shallow waters glinting under the fading sun. It echoed the stories shared among friends, each ripple a reminder of connection. Suddenly, as if orchestrated by some unseen force, a delicate white feather floated down from the sky and landed softly in front of me. Its simplicity was profound, and I felt a gentle tug in my spirit, urging me to contemplate its arrival. In that moment, I made a connection. Feathers had long been symbols of freedom, of being light and unencumbered. Yet here was one, grounded in nature, reminding me that letting go was just as vital as taking flight. Perhaps abundance, I mused, was about acknowledging both our roots and our aspirations, balancing the earthly with the ethereal. As I returned to my group that week, I carried the feather in my pocket as a talisman. It felt like a silent whisper of encouragement, and I shared my encounter, inviting each person to reflect on what they might need to release to soar higher in our shared journey. Inspired by this, Hilara proposed an exercise. Each member would bring a small token to symbolize something they felt they needed to let go. Laughter bubbled around the room as we hastily prepared items ranging from broken trinkets to old photographs. We planned to create a communal altar, a sacred space for honoring our collective pasts while fostering our dreams for the future. The altar, formed that night, soon became a vibrant focal point of our gatherings. As we placed our tokens upon it, each story brought forth tears, laughter, and ultimately, an overwhelming sense of catharsis. The air crackled with a potent reminder that while the past shapes us, it does not define our future. In sharing burdens, we lightened the load, a practical manifestation of our discussions on abundance. However, amidst all this, unbidden thoughts stirred in my mind. Would releasing these tokens truly reflect our willingness to embrace the abundance waiting to unfold? Would our vulnerabilities lead us to greater heights, or were we merely exchanging one form of attachment for another? The following week, I decided to visit a local meditation group led by a wise elder, a figure steeped in years of experience and insight. As I settled on the floor among strangers, I closed my eyes, surrendering to silence. The guided meditation unfolded like a poem, leading us into deep realms of consciousness where whispers of our emotions danced like shadows. Emerging from that experience like a butterfly from a cocoon, I felt illuminated. The elder spoke of the importance of trust in our journey, trust in ourselves, trust in others, and trust in the cosmic rhythms unfurling around us. Abundance flows when we dare to open our hearts fully, she said, her voice laced with an enchanting calm. When we choose to act as if abundance is already ours, we attract it into our lives. That I pondered this statement, feeling it resonate within me, acting as if could be a profound key. Yet, the notion conjured further questions. Was it genuine to act as if? Could such a practice lead to spiritual honesty, or risk blurring the lines of authenticity? As the days stretched on, my heart became a garden of curiosity, yearning to understand the balance of letting go while acting as if. The concept tantalized and frightened me like a door beckoning to be opened, yet imperfect echoes of doubt nagged at the edges of my thoughts. That in time, I recalled the feather, its lightness reminding me that perhaps there is grace in acting as if. After all, the feather became my bridge, the embodiment of freedom that I sought. What if by embodying the feelings of abundance, however fleeting, we created paths for those feelings to manifest in reality? With each gathering, I carried this new intention. The altar items evolved into stories of triumph over adversity, tales of struggle morphing into narratives filled with hope. I listened deeply, sharing my own reflections, attempting to walk the line of vulnerability and courage. As the sun dipped below the horizon one fateful night, I felt an electric air that danced around us. The stories flowed, and it felt as if everything, the feather, the locket, the laughter, coalesced into a kaleidoscope of knowing. Yet, the questions remained like dark stars in a vast sky, twinkling reminders of an eternal exploration. What if the key to abundance lies not only in sharing our struggles but in daring to act as if what we seek is already ours? And how does that transformation resonate within the soul of each person we meet? As I lay in bed that night, an insatiable hunger for understanding glimmered in my heart. With every question that arose, it seemed I was preparing for something beyond mere comprehension, perhaps an awakening, awaiting the next chapter of my journey. Amidst the gentle caress of receding daylight, it became increasingly clear that my exploration was teetering on the edge of something larger than myself, a profound dance with the universe. The questions I cradled were not just mine, they reflected the murmurs of every soul I had encountered on this journey. With a soft resolve, I stepped into the days ahead, keen to unearth deeper truths about acting as if, and the weight of abundance. That morning, I chose to visit a local farmer's market, a vibrant testament to community and abundance in its purest form. The tables overflowed with fruits, vegetables, and handcrafted goods, a symphony of textures and colors. As I wandered from stall to stall, I felt a magnetic pull towards a small bouquet of wildflowers, their wildness reminding me of my own roots and aspirations. I purchased them, and their radiant presence brightened my heart. While perusing a stand unsure of what to buy, a jovial woman caught my attention. She was selling hand-woven baskets, intricately crafted, each one telling a story of labor and love. Her laughter filled the air, an effervescent melody that invited me to share in her joy. "The basket holds the spirit of abundance," she exclaimed, placing a basket in my hands, "and it also teaches us about containment. What do we choose to hold, and what do we choose to release?" As her words settled into my consciousness, I reflected on the concept of containment. How can one embrace abundance without overflowing? I purchased the basket, feeling it resonate as a symbol of potential. On my way back, the wildflowers danced in tandem with my thoughts, sparking a realization perhaps I needed to explore more directly what I sought to contain and what needed to be released. Much like the stories I observed in the gathering, during our next meeting, I unveiled my new basket, placing it at the center of our altar, a vessel for our shared stories of what we held dear and what we truly wished to let go. "Let's transform this space," I suggested, my heart pounding with anticipation. What if we each wrote down what we wished to contain in our lives and what burdens we're ready to release? The room brimmed with a restless energy as pens scrawled hesitant thoughts across paper. Excitement intertwined with vulnerability, and soon, a hush fell over us as we prepared to place our notes within the basket. Each slip felt like an offering, imbued with dreams, aspirations, and the shadows that lingered alongside them. One by one, we shared, and I witnessed the threads of connection weaving between us. Laughter punctuated moments of sadness, sorrow transformed into hope, with many eyes sparkling with shared understanding. Yet, amidst the magic of the evening lay a persistent undercurrent of doubt. As the confessions flowed, I couldn't shake the feeling that even in our vulnerability, we clung tightly to our needs for abundance. Were we truly brave enough to embody our desires? To own our capacity to manifest what we longed for? That night, I returned home, the questions swirling more violently than ever. I folded into my bed, cradling the wildflowers, inhaling their sweet scent. The basket, now filled with our collective intentions, took on a life of its own. Was it simply a container, or a catalyst for change? I wondered whether the act of holding space in this way would awaken the hidden truths lying dormant within us. As I slipped into a restless sleep, vivid dreams fluttered like moths around a candle, illuminating fragments of insight. The need to nurture these feelings of abundance as elemental aspects of our being, rather than fleeting shadows. But still, the clarion calls of uncertainty echoed, lingering just out of reach. With dawn breaking, I sensed a subtle implication that perhaps acting as if was not merely about projecting desire into the world, but rather embodying the essence of trust and awakening our inner reservoirs. Yet, the deeper question remained: how does one hold the balance between letting go and embracing abundance without losing authenticity? Fueled by curiosity and wonder, I resolved to navigate this path for the days to come, seeking further signs and revelations. What awaited me beyond the horizon? Would I find clarity in the act of containment, or would more questions unfold like the wildflowers blooming in spring? It feels surreal to reach this moment, standing here at the crossroads of transformation. I've journeyed through shadows and sunlight, grasping at winds of wisdom, gathering understandings like petals in my palm. Today, in this sacred space, am prepared to unveil the ultimate truth that has simmered beneath countless encounters, conversations, and reflections. The sun hung low in the sky, painting the world in hues of gold and amber. I found myself drawn to the park once more, where it all began. The air felt thick with whispered secrets, the scent of blooming flowers mingling with the sounds of laughter resonating through the trees. I perched myself upon a bench, heart racing with a mix of anticipation and reverence. That I and the quiet, I reflected on the journey, every flicker of doubt that clouded my path, every moment of connection, and every piece of art and intention shared amongst my newfound community. Each of us, so gloriously human, carried our burdens, dreams, and desires, weaving threads of understanding and compassion. But there remained one question, a whisper that had echoed endlessly: what if the essence of abundance was not merely in what we can possess, but in how we relate to others and ourselves? As if to answer, the gentle breeze rustled the leaves around me, as though nature itself conspired to illuminate my heart's longing. I closed my eyes and surrendered to the sound, the laughter of children playing, the soft chirping of birds, the distant laughter of friends nestled around picnic blankets. Each note played a melody in my soul, reminding me of our interdependence. Suddenly, with clarity slicing through the fog, I understood the truth I had been seeking. Abundance is not found in the acquiring of things, nor is it summoning a facade of wealth and happiness. It blooms in vulnerabilities shared, in moments of authentic connection, in choosing to embody the energy of love and creativity that fused through our gatherings. It's about choosing to express our gifts, sharing what we already possess within us, the gift of being alive, present, and attuned to one another's stories. That I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes as the realization settled in: the river of abundance flows not only when we act as if we are worthy, but when we dedicate ourselves to the art of giving and receiving in every exchange. The act of sharing transcends the individual, creating a tapestry of juxtaposed experiences that enrich us all. The more we offer our hearts to the world, the more we draw forth the love and connection we seek, transforming lives' fleeting moments into eternal legacies. That I, in the quiet of my heart, I knew that I was no longer just an observer, nor merely playing a role. I was a co-creator, a vessel of transformation, woven into the fabric of a beautiful, interconnected universe. The feather, the locket, the whispers of wisdom, they weren't just symbols but reminders that true abundance resides within each of us, pulsing with life, waiting to unfold. That I opened my eyes to the vibrant landscape, reminder painted by nature that everything is an invitation, a call to awaken to our inherent worthiness. In that moment, I wished deeply for my community and every soul I encountered to see this truth reflected back to themselves. Through our shared narratives, we fulfill the promise of abundance. For all the acts of acting as if had led me here, I realized it was more than anticipation and performance. it was embracing the profound reality of who we are: complex, miraculous beings deserving of love and connection, committed to nurturing each other's paths. As I strolled homeward, the world felt different, electric with possibility. With each step, I was even more aware of the sacred moments in the mundane: the way the sun dipped below the horizon, coloring the sky with whimsy, or how the laughter of a child could spark warmth in the soul. The threads of this journey wove tighter in my heart, an unwavering truth, bursting forth like wildflowers flourishing through cracked concrete. I understood now that abundance is not a destination but the sacred journey of being together, embodying our authenticity, accepting our vulnerabilities, and showing up fully in the world. That I may never fully grasp every nuance of this mystery, but as the stars began to dot the velvet night, I recognized the power of simply being open, being vulnerable, and being willing to embrace the infinite web of existence. In this realization, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over me, for I finally understood that my search had led me back home, to a truth so beautifully simple and profound that I smiled softly, the weight of the world lifting, replaced by the lightness of understanding. Each of us is a note in the grand symphony of life, and together, we compose a melody that resonates with abundance. And in this, I discovered my heart's deepest whisper, echoing through eternity: we are all the everything we seek.